you so much. It's good to be home.
Well, yeah, it's a different setting, but
I know,
usually...
it's good to be home not
But it
only
seems
in
you got
Jakarta,
quite the same nerve first before that.
Yeah.
When you start to walk again,
Yeah.
you feel the ambience.
I know, I'm like, oh, it's been 2 weeks since I came home.
Right.
So it's starting to give me all the feels again, like I'm still back in the competition. But this time more comfortable because I'm right at home.
So everyone, welcome back to See the Stories. This is the signature segment of the 3-hour news show. Now, those who love pageants are certainly familiar with the 22nd edition of Miss Earth, which was held on November the 29th in Manila, the Philippines. And our Indonesian representative, Karina Basrewan, successfully brought home the Best in National Costume title for the Asia and Oceania region, and also Miss Tourism Ligao City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Our own Karina Basrewan, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So let's have a look at her achievement.
Karina was officially selected as an Indonesian representative in the 2022 Miss Earth through event management company Mahakarya Duta Pesona Indonesia.
Miss Earth itself is an annual beauty pageant that focuses on environmental issues and sustainability, and its 22nd edition was the first offline event after the COVID-19 pandemic. For the first time in history, Indonesia won Best in National Costume for the Asia and Oceania region in the international pageant.
And also Miss Tourism Ligao City. So, without further ado, let's have a chat with Karina Basrewan herself. Karina, now, can you tell us about, we've been seeing all these things about Miss Earth on the Instagram account, also in your Instagram account. But can you let us know more about Miss Earth? What are actually the main duties of Miss Earth?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much, guys. It's good to be home. Feels a little weird being on the other side.
I know, right?
The other end of the table.
I know, right?
Because usually I'm there and I'm not usually dressed like this. But yeah, it's has been an amazing opportunity, an amazing experience. Miss Earth itself, our main duties is really just to advocate for being sustainable and environmentally friendly, not only in our country, not only in our city, our country, but also around the world. And of course, this year's theme is Miss Earth Loves Fauna. So we specifically focus on animals. And that's why, as we can see, I focused on the endangered species of Komodo dragons this year.
Yeah, so that's why you got the best.
Yeah, that right there is Pedro.
Oh,
there we go.
that's
That's Pedro, yes. That's Pedro and I on our little eco tour prior to going to Manila for the competition. So I advocate to raise awareness for both ecotourism and the endangered species of Komodo dragons themselves to sort of not only inform and raise awareness, but also educate people regarding what is happening with these endangered species. Because as we know, the Komodo National Park has actually raised their prices recently, right?
Yes.
And I think what some people fail to understand is that the prices that they've set, it's going to the conservation of the preservation of these Komodo dragons. It's not just for the tourism, it's also for these endangered species. So, and not a lot of people actually know about these Komodo dragons, only here in Indonesia. So to advocate that on an international platform and introduce this to other countries, that's really what Miss Earth is all about. It's bringing our respective endangered animals onto a world stage so that other countries and other people are aware, are knowing of what's happening.
So how was the response about, when you deliver the message of bringing the endangered species of Komodo from other countries, representative, for example?
Yeah, I think they were quite surprised. They don't they've never really heard of the Komodo dragons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is quite surprising to me. Because I know that the Komodo National Park is actually a top tourist destination.
Exactly.
People go diving there.
That's why.
People visit
That's
them.
why I am shocked.
And yeah, and so it was only until I actually got to meet all the other delegates and talked to them about it, that they actually questioned, what is the Komodo dragons like? What are they like? And what's the, what are their habitats? What's the conservation? And a lot of people are aware of the Sumatran tigers.
Yes.
And the Javanese rhinos as well. But not so many people are aware of the Komodo dragons. And I think that's one of the reasons why I chose the Komodo dragons as well, is to sort of create more awareness so that people know that, hey, we have these little dragons, these cute little dragons here in Indonesia. That's actually one of our pride and joy that needs help and attention.
Well, talking about being chosen or choosing, we want to know actually, how did you get chosen to represent Indonesia in this competition?
So the Miss Earth license has just recently been claimed by Mahakarya Duta Pesona Indonesia, and it's the first time they've actually held a pageant. And the process took quite some time, that they didn't actually have time to hold a competition for this year.
Before the competition, the final competition.
Before the actual Miss Earth competition, they didn't have a national competition. They didn't have time to do so, and so they had to handpick someone.
I see.
To send to represent Indonesia at Miss Earth. And here I am. And it was all very, very quick. It all happened so fast. I remember getting an email actually towards the end of September, just asking like, hey, are you interested to be Miss Earth? And are you, just to come compete in Manila in the Philippines? And represent our country.
Wait, the competition was in November and you got the email in September. So that means
end
like
of September.
2 months.
Oh, not even, huh?
Not
I
even.
had 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks.
Only
to
a month. Right.
Yeah, and so I think that's why when I, mentioned that it all happened so fast, it literally did. Like, we had barely 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been 5 years since
For you.
I actually entered a pageant.
Yeah.
And so just sort of like jumping back into the routine of things, sitting up straight, like, it took a while for me to sort of
right now.
get back into
It's like riding a
it.
bicycle, isn't it?
Kind of, yes, but you do get the gist of it after some time. You remember what it was like, the little routines, the little rules, what's to do and what not to do, and so yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure. And I think when I got the message, I was quite shocked. I never thought this opportunity would come again to
Did you
go
ask
back into
at that time, why me? Why did you choose me?
I was like, so, just out of curiosity. Like, I mean, I haven't been in the game for 5 years. Like, why me? And they expressed that, I think we see you from different aspects, public speaking wise, your advocacy, and I think you'd be a perfect fit. Which honestly, it was a huge honor for me. And I thought, to have the chance to represent Indonesia on a world stage is just a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think, people, have this mindset that, hey, you got to go for the crown. And by all means, like, who wouldn't want it, right?
Yeah.
But I promised myself that I would come into this with a mindset that I would do my best for Indonesia. I mean, the crown, of course, but that's not my first priority on the list. My first priority is to bring the best possible name for Indonesia, that people out there, people across the world will know Indonesia as this country that is full of empathy. We are kind, we're friendly, we're approachable, and that's the kind of character that I'd hope to bring with me at Miss Earth.
Okay, so talking about your experience during the quarantine at Miss Earth.
Yes.
So it was how many weeks?
3.5 weeks.
3.5
It's almost a month.
Almost a month, that's right.
Almost a month, and if you guys are actually following her Insta stories.
Like we did.
Like we did, yes, of course. We've been monitoring.
My loyal
closely.
colleagues.
Yeah.
Like, so you moved from one city to another in only 48 hours, right?
We were in a different city every 48 hours.
How many cities were you?
I think in total, we came across about 6.
6 cities.
6 cities.
6 cities in 3.5 weeks, 2 days
3.5.
each.
Yes, and so at the start and towards the end, we spent most of our time in Manila. So at the start, it was, you know, having sponsor visits, press conferences and whatnot, and that had to be done in the capital city. And towards the end, it was the rehearsals leading up to the final. But in between, so I think it was 2.5 weeks of traveling. But yes, 6 cities in 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. So I want to know, behind all the glitz and glam of the stage of a pageantry, what can you tell from your experiences moving from one city to another and how the whole process in the event of quarantine of Miss Earth 2022?
No sleep. But luckily, I've been trained because I do the morning
Thank you for
show.
being honest with that.
Right? So while all these girls, you know, had trouble not sleeping, I'm like, I wake up at 3 in the morning every day for the news. But no sleep, and I think on top of that, that was really quite exhausting. Was of course the traveling, and you know, we weren't just hopping from flight to flight. It was a flight and then a 4-hour bus
4
ride
hour?
to wherever we went.
So you had a flight and then additional 4 hours bus
Yeah,
ride.
and it would be like a 2-3 hour flight, and it, you know, we'd always catch the morning flight because then, you know, we want to get there and we still have activities to do, and I think it's also the unpacking, repacking that's quite, you know, exhausting. And you know, we'd finish events at like 2 a.m. and then our call time is at 4 a.m.
Like only 2 hours?
2 hours, and I
Or
mean,
repacking again
you
and
still
no
have to-
sleep?
Yeah, you have to be lucky if you had like 45 minutes of naps. But you know, one thing though, I am now trained to literally sleep anytime, anywhere.
That
can do that
the
now.
best.
Like a deep sleep in a qualitative time. Right?
Yes.
Right.
I used to not be able to take naps. Now, just put me anywhere,
You can actually sleep.
I'll snooze.
So my next question is, how did you manage your time for makeup? Because it is such
that
a
too.
dress up and also the hairdo. I think
Yes.
you need to manage as well. Even if
Yes.
maybe there are some people who help you, or maybe you just
No,
prepare
it was all by ourselves. So you tend to learn a few tricks. I, for one, you guys should not try this at home unless you're actually really on crunch time. But so when you're doing your makeup, only erase the face, not the eyes. Yeah, it can usually last 2 days.
Okay.
Until you erase it. And then with the hair, you know, you do it really, really well, and then you sleep with curlers on and like a shower
Wait.
cap.
Or
So that when you wake
Curler?
up,
wait,
a little
voila.
uncomfortable, but hey, beauty is pain.
All right, all right. So Indonesia brought home the best
National costume.
the best in national costume title for Asia and Oceania region.
That's
Can
right.
you briefly describe about the costume?
Yes, so the theme of the costume was Warrior of the Jungle. And it was a combination of the Sumatran, no, not Sumatra tigers, excuse me, the Javanese rhinos and the elephants.
Okay.
So, as we know, they're both going extinct, and we wanted to raise awareness on that. We wanted to present that onto the world stage. This is happening. These are an endangered species here in Indonesia, and you know, thank God it got amazing responses, not only you know from our Indonesians ourselves, but also around the world. Everyone thought our costume was amazing. We worked with a designer from Bali.
Bali.
Yeah, and we actually went to Curug near Ciawi, Jawa Barat.
To take pictures
To
of
take
it.
our video, yeah, to take our national costume video and photo shoot. And oh my gosh, that itself was an 8-hour car ride.
8
'Cause we had to
hours?
go up, and it was a
In
whole...
Bogor, yeah?
In Bogor. And it was raining, and we had to go to a waterfall for it, but hey, we brought it home. So it was worth it.
Yeah. So if
It's
you want to know what it looks like, so
That's
this
it.
is the one, right?
That is it.
So if you want to zoom in,
Yeah,
if
there
you want
we
to
go.
zoom in, so this is actually the costume that brought home an award.
Yeah, first time in history.
First time in history, because never in history Indonesia have placed in any kind of title in
No, it
the
was,
Miss Earth.
you know, to be able to hear Indonesia's name being called on the stage for the first time ever in history, the history of Miss Earth was, you know, it was heartwarming for me that, hey, we may not have brought home the crown, but to be able to break a record and to make something in history, that's a huge thing on its own. And it was a personal achievement for me. It was a huge achievement for our organization as well, Mahakarya Duta Pesona Indonesia. First time they held the license for Miss Earth, and first time we brought home an award.
So when will the next Miss Earth Indonesia?
It will be in March, so...
Wow, you will give up your crown in March.
Yeah, it was a very sweet but short reign, unfortunately. But yes, so the next competition for Miss Earth, and it will be also Miss Global and Miss Aesthetic.
Oh, so you have 3 titles.
3 titles under Mahakarya Duta Pesona Indonesia, which we will hold as Putri Nusantara. It will be that competition. Be in March. So all you ladies, you know, who has the heart, who has the drive to make a change, make an impact, please go for it. I would love to, you know, pass on my crown to someone who wants to make just as much of a difference as I do. And I know, you know, we've had a great run so far for Indonesia at Miss Earth, and I know the only way from here is up. And I know that whoever my successor is will make us proud as well.
Okay, ladies, be prepared from now, yeah?
From now.
From now, yes, we've got 3 months.
Yes, and I would like to know, actually, we are following your Instagram, of course, like the most valid one about your development stories there.
Yes.
So actually, how warm was the response from the Filipinos and other delegates to you? Because, like, you know, I'm following also the comments from the YouTube live, like when you didn't make to the Big 20, like a lot of people feel so sad for that.
Yeah, that included the Filipinos and Filipinas.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was actually quite shocked, I think, with the response that I was getting from the Filipinos and the Filipinas. I didn't expect for them to be so open and so warm towards me, because there's this whole thing, you know, about Indonesian and the Filipino pageant lovers that, you know, guys, at the end of the day, like, we're all aiming for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think I keep, you know, expressing how we should always support and encourage one another. And the response for them has been so, so nice. I remember going to, I was in Legao City. There was actually a video on Instagram where, you know, we were on this motorcade and we were going around, and there were so many Filipino students holding the Indonesian flag.
Oh, really?
And they were chanting Indonesia. And, you know, to have that name, to have Indonesia being screamed at with so much passion in a country where it's not ours. You know, for them to show so much love for our country was so heartwarming, and it actually brought tears to my eyes, because, like, oh my gosh, we're actually so loved. And I think it goes to show that we have made an impact, right, in that. And actually, one really, really amazing thing that happened was after the final night. When we didn't actually place at the Miss Earth competition, a Filipino fan came up to me and said, "Karina, I hope you know that although you did not get the crown, a crown will rust, but the mark that you have put on these people's hearts will remain forever.
Wow.
And I hope you know that at the end of the day, that's an even bigger win than any crown could possibly give." And so to hear that coming from a Filipino that I didn't even know, that only saw me and supported me throughout my journey, was just so...
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming in the best way possible. Like, you know, it's amazing that, hey, yes, that when people think or hear of Indonesia, they think of something great. They think of something memorable. And I think, personally, that's a huge achievement for both myself and for the country to be able to represent Indonesia across my heart. I've made a huge impact on these people.
And you've been a great Asian to that.
Well,